Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Coming up, we're at the Sportfish show in Berkshire. We've got all the regulars, news Stump, hunting YouTube and the experts from Skinners Pet Foods for training a gun dog. First, Roy Lupton's found an unusual way of getting around while going shooting. Roy is many things, but one thing he isn't is quick off the blocks. But there may be an answer.
Over the last few years on Fieldsports Britain, I'm sure the viewers have realised that I'm a little bit short, a little bit wobbly and carried a few too many pounds. But thanks to the advancement in science, that has completely been blown out of the water, and I am definitely now a little bit taller, a little bit faster and a damn sight smoother.
Roy's been offered the chance of using the off-road Segway type machine by two visiting Dutch air rifle hunters who regularly charge around the British countryside on these quiet and capable two-wheelers.
It's my tongue poking out, that's the thing that doesn't look good.
Looking for quarry. For Roy, it's more important than that. For the first time in a long time, he's able to cover ground in relative comfort with stealth and at a decent pace. So after a practice session, it's time to mount up and steer the machine out into the field.
All joking aside, I've always wanted to have a go on a Segway. I've always thought that there's a possibility of being able to use them for stalking. I mean, they've got their limitations, we're not going to be able to use them on the hill in Scotland or whatever else, but stalking species like roe and muntjac, I think for anybody that's got a physical disability, then any aid that you can use, I think, can only be a good thing. So what I want to try today is to get around some of the little spinnies and woods that we've got here and try and see if we can call in any muntjac. And it's really just to see if we can stalk into position. I think, though, that trying to shoot off one of these is going to be an impossibility, so I'm going to have to dismount before we take the shot.
Roy has always dreamed of having the wrong trousers grommet, and now he has them. But will the machine really get us near deer? It's certainly quiet, and as long as the rides are clear, we should have a pretty decent shot at stalking in close. Then again, despite teething problems, we spot a muntjac and Roy dismounts to sound the Burleigh call. We all but give up hope, but then we realise a buck has sneaked up behind us, so the call worked a treat. We just need eyes in the backs of our heads.
What a shame, isn't that typical? Really, really nice buck. He's still kicking off there, and he snuck up right behind us. Not more than 15 yards behind us, but he walked straight into us and made us. So he just kicked off and disappeared off behind us. So that's a shame. He would have been absolutely perfect. We've upset him.
For a bit of fun, we try and find this stroppy buck.
Just behind that little bush there, so he's 30, 40 yards away from us, but we just can't get an eye on him.
Muntjac are feisty little deer. We let him be. We've got ground to cover, and in style. Roy's newfound freedom means cameraman David is left lagging behind. This idea may not have legs after all. The next two calls deliver out, but we're covering lots of ground. Then we get another sighting. It's brief, but clearly the silver chariot is not affecting our chances badly. With poor weather and light levels falling, it's not to be, but what a fun couple of hours we've had.
I suppose the big question is, will I actually go out and buy one of these? And I think after the amount of fun that I've had this afternoon, the answer is most definitely yes. The only downside is I'm enjoying the speed too much, so I'm trying to get to places a lot quicker than obviously I would walk, because I tend to be a little bit slower than most other people, and I tend to find that by being slow it gives you more chance to use your binoculars to glass and to see more. Whereas today I did actually bump a few deer because I was just getting carried away with it. If I could learn to ride it a little bit slower, it might work. But at the moment, I've got to be honest, I'm just enjoying the speed.
What a buzz. Well, actually more of a hum. From Roy to someone else who's fast on his feet, it's David on the Fieldsports Channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Britain News. A German angler fishing off the coast of Norway has caught what's believed to be a new world record-breaking cod. Michael Eisler has donated the £103 cod, which would provide 200 fish suppers, to the Norwegian Fisheries Museum in Bergen. The previous world record of £98 and 12 ounces was caught off New Hampshire in the US in 1969. Adam Cork has won the English Open Sporting Championship. Held at Doveridge Clay Sports Centre in Derbyshire, Adam scored 91 x 100. We caught up with Richard Folds halfway through the competition.
The first couple of rotations of shot, it's a tough shoot. There's a lot of targets that are under a lot of power, but just the degree of difficulty is, I would have said, above average.
If you fancy some country fun this month, the Burleigh Game and Country Fair is on May the 26th and 27th. Set in the grounds of one of the UK's most beautiful stately homes, the fair offers 3 arenas full of displays from fishing to falconry. You can try your hand at air gunning, archery, paintballing and dog handling. There's also a glorious food show, so plenty of excuses to eat, drink and be merry over the late bank holiday weekend. Fancy buying a gun company? US-based ammo and munitions maker ATK has just paid $135 million for Caliber Company, the parent company of Savage Sports. ATK also owns Federal Premium, CCI Fusion and Spear. The Association of Air Ambulances has written to thank fox hunters and stag hunters. Some 28 packs raised more than £32,000 for air ambulance services across the UK last season. And finally, and sticking with charity, the World Pheasant Association raised more than £12,000 at a charity clay shoot in Berkshire. The money will help fund research into black grouse. It's holding another shoot in Oxfordshire on Friday the 21st of June. For more information visit pheasant.org.uk. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Britain News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, David. Could be time for a haircut. Now, let's go to Hallo Charlie. Here's what the world's up to this week.
Hello Charlie, it's me, the crew hunter. You may remember me from my amazing crew calling video. Anyhow, we're out here today in sunny Ireland and we're shooting some feral pigeons and crows. So, ciao for now.
Hello Charlie, that's Andrew from the 85K11 YouTube channel and the Vermin Hunter Forum. This morning I'm in some stables slotting some pigeons.
Look into the camera. Say it.
Hello Charlie.
What's your name?
Charlie.
Is it? Your name is Charlie?
Send us your own Hallo Charlie. Film yourself on your mobile phone, just a sentence saying Hallo Charlie, who you are and what you're up to. Then share it or email it via YouTube, Facebook, Dropbox, or you send it, you name it, to charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. Now to something that may have an effect on the great lead shot debate. I've been to a seedy hotel in Manchester. So my story starts in the grubby suburb of Manchester called Salford, partly because it's an industrial heartland where they used to pump heavy metals into the water, and partly because the BBC is based here, so you won't find any shooters. Now, an Australian company called Andalize has sent me this dodgy-looking black suitcase with a tester for lead and other heavy metals in water. Perfect for shooters. Let's see how Manchester tap water fares. This is Manchester tap water. Fast forward to about a minute later and there you have it. Below, 1 part per billion. Now, we have spent a happy week zooming around the UK as per usual, and we have been collecting water along the way. Here's me getting it from Doveridge Clayground, where the pond must surely be full of lead shot thanks to evil clay shooters. The lake next to Sportfish in Reading, where those wicked anglers have been chucking in even more lead. And even the Wildfowl and Wetlands Trust at Slimbridge in Gloucestershire, which is committed to banning lead shot, so is surely cleaner than clean. Let's test these samples. Of course, this has got nothing to do with ducks ingesting lead shot because they've got no teeth, but the antis are trying to accuse shooters of poisoning the environment and the water supply with lead as well. Conclusive proof that the water is safe. I ask shooter and deer farmer Mike Dickinson, what is the politics of lead?
There's all sorts. There's people who are trying to ban lead for various reasons. Some with their own agendas, but there is no evidence to back up what they're trying to say.
Now, is that because they don't like lead or because they don't like shooting?
Both. Mainly because they don't like shooting.
For more about the Andalise handheld water tester, go to andalise.com. Flapping flags and flying canvas, we must be at a country show. Well, we are. It's the Sportfish show in Berkshire. And this year, the theme is technology. If you yearn to go back to a simpler age where you dangle a pin on a strand of horsehair tied to a willow wand you have cut from yonder copse, forget it. Today's angler can reach the parts that others have only dreamed of thanks to new rods, new reels and even an innovative method of mending waders. Somewhere deep in the heart of the Sportfish Open weekend, I find the Sims guys.
Things do wear out, there's lots of things when you're fishing, could be a barbed wire fence, could be thorns and things like that, or general wear. Well, these are obviously the Gore-Tex wader, got a Gore-Tex membrane in there, and what we've done today, part of the whole thing with the Sims waders is they can be quite easily repaired. Tom is our wader repair expert here from Oslo, so we have a little demonstration where we use something called isopropanol alcohol, which does a little bit of magic and it shows up any pinholes in the wader. It's really quite clever.
If it has any punctures, it will show up like a little black spot. So easy to find and so easy to repair.
So you can then just use a bit of Aquaseal and repair your waders very easily.
While the Sportfish shop is getting the bite into customers, cramming into it, admiring and buying tackle, on the grass outside is a large marquee stuffed with the great and good from the angling industry, showing off products old-fashioned and newfangled. This is where to find out what's catching the eye of the modern fisherman. A lot of this need for technology comes down to where we are fishing, and some of that is the fault of agencies such as Frontiers.
Frontiers has been around since 1969, and we sort of invented the idea of fishing travel. When we started, with the exception of a little bit of salmon fishing abroad, which Russia was really beginning to create, it was a new thing to do. That is what's called a GT, or a giant trevally. You catch it in the Seychelles, most famously, but other places as well. That's a sea trout from Rio Grande on Tierra del Fuego. The sort of green and yellow fish down the bottom is a Dorado from Bolivia.
There is a good showing from one of the UK's foremost tackle companies, Hardy Greys, based in the northeast of England. Howard Croston, head of product development, is bringing a new range of technology to ignorant southerners like me.
Basically, we produce fishing equipment now that you can use basically all over the globe. We do everything from big game, fly fishing equipment, right through coarse fishing, carp fishing, sea fishing. Technology is a very, very big part of our business. Heritage is also a very big part. We still manufacture cane rods from scratch, but at the other end of the scale, we're working with very, very advanced nano-loaded resins, new fibre types. So really, it's one of those things. It's actually a really sort of quirky company. We've got the history. We're one of the oldest fishing tackle companies in the world. Yet we're right at the cutting edge of modern technology as well.
The fly tying here has a modern twist, and if you are watching this on YouTube, you can click on these films to see them in full. The mayfly hatch on southern English chalk streams is worryingly late this year, so Chris Reeves of fishingclass.co.uk is tying an all-purpose nymph on the Partridge of Redditch stand. Meanwhile, for those who have given up on freshwater altogether, Joe Stevenson on the ukbass.com stand is tying an all-purpose fry fly. Also at the show is one of the biggest names in fly fishing, Charles Jardine, who seems to be confusing himself with his distant cousin Douglas. It might be May, but it's not perfect weather for either fly fishing or cricket.
Sorry, it's jolly cold in here, and
Do you want a hanky?
I'd love a hanky. I just haven't made a hanky to go with this. Basically, the idea, Charlie, was to get a bunch of fly lines
I did exactly what they said on the tin, to dispel myth, to give people coming into the sport especially a degree of confidence, and also a line that is eminently fishable. There's one over there just under that was the line of choice of the fishers at Grafham because it met exactly the requirements at the back end of last year. We're talking about bass fishing and fishing for pollock or goldfish or anything really that swims in the sea that we can fish for with a fly, because that is a new, I was going to say battleground, it is sometimes, but that's a new era for us and a new way of looking at the sport. It's taking it out of the confines of just purely, you know, what we would expect, trout fishing on rivers and still waters and reservoirs, and saying, look, you can do this. Go on holiday, go mackerel fishing, go bass fishing. Here's a nice little line to take with you and do it.
Fishing tackle design has taken a leap forward in the last few years. People are taking their rods to new heights, which is why manufacturers have been to talk to the aerospace industry.
Carbon fibre technology is not developed for fishing rods, it's developed for the aerospace industry and the Airbus, which you'll know about. There's 300 and odd Airbuses being made in the world at the minute. That is what the material is developed to be lighter and stronger, and the fishing rod industry rides piggybacks, if you like, on the back of that. But the range of materials now that are available for making fishing rods is huge. So the skill is, it's a marriage of art and science. The skill is knowing which types of carbon fibre materials to match up. Because you don't just have one type in a rod, you may have 3 or 4 different types positioned at different places down the blank.
Another US rod manufacturer, Sage, is based in the same town as aircraft maker Boeing.
We get a lot of research out of Boeing. They bring it to us, we bring a little bit to them. And we have a great relationship with a number of the engineers there who are fishermen. They love to come over for the little break it gives them. And we have a great time with Boeing. It's very important because they're one of the leaders in aerospace. And that's where all the great material comes from. We're always interested in making something lighter and stronger. And literally what they're doing with the new 787 Dreamliner is really in this rod to a degree, so it really works out pretty nicely for us.
Sportfish has run this show over a May weekend every year for a dozen years.
It's a long time.
Yeah, it's been a lot of shows.
But it's something our customers expect of us now, really, and we love putting it on. It's great. Entry's free, parking's free. We've got guys coming from all over the world. We've got guys from the United States, Scandinavia, and even Scotland, you know, exotic locations like that.
All the retailers are in there showing all their new products and sort of all the new exciting things they brought with them, and it's a great opportunity for our customers to have a look at those and then come back and give us the feedback of what they've seen and what they really like, and that sort of gives us sort of a good sort of head start on the, you know, later on in the year to bring in those products that they've seen.
Really important that it kind of showcase for that technology, and people can not only see the rods, but the experts from the companies that have designed them, they'll chat to you, and they'll go out and they'll cast the rods with you on the water. So you can hear the full story of the rod's development and actually see the guy who's designed it casting it, which I think is amazing.
Absolutely wonderful. You've got all this kit, all this technology, all these people here.
Yep.
How many fish have you caught today?
One. Actually, fishing's been hard today, and this is a great fishery, so you know I don't understand that, but it's cold for the fish the same as it is for us. You know, we've had a run up. Last few days there's been big flocks of swallows over the lake, and they've been eating buzzers that have been hatching. That's not going on today because they're not playing. So anyway, so it's not a fishing day, but a great day for a show.
A brilliant day for a show. And now to the wider world of hunting, shooting and fishing on YouTube. It is Hunting YouTube. This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting, shooting and fishing videos that YouTube has to offer. Now, I am not a fan of kill shot compilations. However, Last Deer Hunting Season Highlights by Greg Loginway is a good one, just uploaded with highlights from 2012. Continuing the Roebuck theme, Trout calls himself Roebuck King of Denmark in this film. It is a good beast, no question, and you can decide for yourself whether to call Trout Majesty. Now, not exactly a shooting video, and it's been around for 2 years, but something to chew on as the clay pigeon season gets gets underway, golfers from the European Tour get together in Dubai to see if they can break a clay with a golf ball. Can they do it? Of course they can, and people say that guy is still running today. Moving to fishing, and we are in San Francisco Bay in Northern California, where they catch sturgeon on rod and line. It's a bit of a promo because Help You Fish is a fishing guide too, but hey, it's a sturgeon and it is California. Salmon Fishing Ireland 2013, The Dam Fishery, is a straightforward film about pulling a biggish head and tailing fish out of an Irish river below a dam. The information is interesting, but the commentary is a bit of a waste of a good Irish accent. Back to hunting, and it's driven wild boar on a GoPro. What those little cameras were, I reckon, designed for. Mr. French Hunter is having bon tomps on a driven hunt. There are some good antelope hunting videos coming out of South Africa at the moment. I have picked impala hunting in Eastern Cape, which may be a bit wobbly compared to many of them, but it is real. Finally, the snow goose hunting season is underway in snowy South Dakota. Golfman 96's buddy went there for a 4-day hunting trip, and he was along to film. You can click on any of these films to watch them. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, send it in via YouTube or email me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. Now, a speedy top tip from the Skinners pet foods experts: how to improve your gun dog. Small gun dogs like cocker spaniels, how can they be suitable for big wildfowl like geese? Well, with a top gun dog trainer like Howard Kirby on hand, here's how.
Everything is progression. It's what we call layer training. So when we start maybe with a tennis ball or a tiny puppy dummy. Okay, you can use an ordinary dog. That's quite a big dummy to use on an intermediate dog. We've then got this fluffy rabbit ball that helps to start the transition. It's still small, it rolls, it excites the dog. Sometimes your dog will get completely fed up with an ordinary tennis ball. So if you bring one of these out with a bit of fluff on it, you spit on it, or you rub it in some cold game, you make it smell of a pigeon or of a rabbit. It's a great way to make that transition from a plain old dummy, which is just a canvas bag of shavings, or a tennis ball, which is rubber with fluff on it, towards slowly building them up to live game. And that's a layered up process. We don't rush them straight out and show them a pheasant, because things can go very wrong, and you can spoil your gun dog by rushing them into cold or hot game.
And heavier game. What, do you tie two pigeons together? How do you do?
No, that's a good. Actually, I've never tied two pigeons together, but you could. Yeah, you just create more weight gradually. So you know, classically, a small pigeon or a partridge, and then a hen pheasant, and then a cock pheasant, and then finally you move up to hares and geese and stuff like that. If you think your dog's likely to encounter that in the shooting field, it will at some point. So it's a gradual process. Certainly, you wouldn't expect a little 14-week-old puppy to try and pick up a hare. He's not going to do it. It's just plain silly.
Howard Kirby runs Mullinscourt Gun Dogs from Lanes Shooting School near Andover in Hampshire. Visit mullinscourt.co.uk. This series on gun dog training tips is brought to you by Skinners Pet Foods, maker of the Field and Trial range of gun dog feeds. Visit skinnerspetfoods.co.uk. Before we go, the Schools Challenge Breeding Weekend has just been and gone. The second leg of the Schools Challenge takes place at Breedon School in Gloucestershire, with dozens of schools and hundreds of kids taking part. Watch the highlights in this week's episode of Schools Challenge TV. Click on the link on the screen to see the film. Well, we are back next week, and if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button that's somewhere around the outside of the screen, or go to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv, where you can click to like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter, or pop your email address into the constant contact form, and we'll be in touch with you every week about our show that's out 7 PM UK time on Wednesdays. This has been Field Sports Britain.